What I'm trying to say is that we should understand the reality of where we are in the West, which no one wants to address. But I think President Putin understands that reality. I know that Xi does. And I know that Tokyo and Seoul have figured this out. And if you go to Northeast Asia and you talk to people there, they're simply waiting for us to leave because they know we can't afford to stay much longer. I think that's going to happen in Europe as well. But in the meantime, what do we get from Washington? Well, we get this political theater. You know, we want to maintain the fiction that we are still today what we were 30 years ago, that nothing has really changed. That's not going to work much longer. So I think in the final analysis, President Trump, when he goes to Alaska to meet with President Putin, is going to be polite. I think they'll both be polite to each other. And I think President Putin will make his position clear, which has not changed in a very long time. President Trump will listen. Does he completely understand what he's listening to? I don't know. I sometimes get the impression that the people that surround President Trump have a vested interest in keeping him uninformed, so that he stands up from time to time and says, oh, the Russians are taking terrible losses, and I know Putin wants to end this war. Well, of course he wants to end the war, but he's not taking heavy losses. You know, they were in double-digit losses every day. In other words, killed in action. In January and February, March, it was like 25, 30, 40, 50, 60 Russians a day. You know what it is now? It's single digit. It's single digit. The losses on the Ukrainian side, as you would expect at the end of a war when things are collapsing, are horrific. So it's a matter of plowing ahead, reaching the Dnieper River. But when you get there, the question you have to ask is, okay, we've come this far. We've achieved the goal of destroying the Ukrainian force, but we still have this facade of a government sitting in Kiev. We still don't have anyone to talk to, really. We have this man Trump, but what can he deliver? You know, if you're looking for something like the Austrian State Treaty, that took a long time to negotiate. The Austrians were heavily engaged. They wanted to be neutral. They wanted to be out of harm's way. Eisenhower at the time said, thank God we can't defend all these countries against the Soviets. And the Soviets were happy to get out because they didn't see any real purpose in being there strategically. Austria didn't offer them anything. So at the end of the day, it worked. Everybody signed up. The guarantees were made. If you're President Putin, where's that going to occur? Who's going to do that?